the Rosetta Stone of the heart. A deep psychological analysis of emotional dialects in the lexicon of human interaction. Few tragedies are as common as the translation error. We see it in the husband who works 60-hour weeks to pay for a vacation, acts of service, only to find his wife weeping because he hasn't looked her in the eye and truly listened to her in a month, quality time. We see it in the mother who showers her child with expensive toys, receiving gifts, while the child grows up feeling emotionally starved for a hug, physical touch. While Dr. Gary Chapman popularized the framework of the 5 love languages in the 1990s, the concept is far more than a pop psychology quiz. It is a simplified interface for understanding complex neurobiological needs, attachment wounds, and developmental conditioning. These languages are actually sophisticated emotional dialects, subconscious scripts regarding safety, validation, and belonging. This analysis explores why we speak the dialects we do, the biological machinery behind them, and the psychological flexibility required to master a foreign emotional tongue. The anatomy of the dialects. Beyond surface behavior to understand why communication fails, we must first deeply analyze the psychological function of each dialect. They are not merely preferences, they are mechanisms for emotional regulation. 1. Words of affirmation. The auditory validation system for individuals who favor this dialect. Words are not just data, they are containers of reality. Psychological function. This language often serves as an antidote to imposter syndrome or deep-seated insecurity. Positive verbal reinforcement acts as an external regulator for internal self-esteem. The mechanism. I love you is a status update. But specific praise, I appreciate how you handled that crisis, provides competence feedback. For these individuals, silence is not neutral. Silence is perceived as active disapproval or withdrawal. The wound often correlates with a childhood where affection was conditional or where the child was invisible unless they performed well. 2. Acts of service. Cognitive load reduction. This is the language of functional partnership. It is less about the task, taking out the trash, and more about the resource allocation, energy and time. Psychological function. This dialect views love as a verb. It is rooted in energy conservation and safety. When a partner performs a task, they are signaling, I am reducing your cognitive load so you can rest. The mechanism. It bypasses the auditory processing centers and goes straight to the primitive need for survival support. The wound. Often seen in individuals who were parentified children, those who had to take care of themselves or their parents at a young age. They crave a partner who allows them to finally put down the burden. 3. Receiving gifts. Totemic psychology and object permanence. Crucially misunderstood as materialism, this dialect is actually about symbolism and object permanence. Psychological function. A gift is a physical artifact of a feeling. It proves that the partner was thinking of them when they were not present. It bridges the gap of separation. The mechanism. For the anxious mind, love is abstract and ephemeral. A physical object makes the emotion concrete. It is a totem, a tangible representation of the bond that can be held when the partner is away. The wound. Frequently correlates with neglect or inconsistency in childhood. If a parent was often absent, the gifts they brought back became the only proof of the bond. 4. Quality time. Intersubjectivity and attunement. This is the craving for shared attention. It is not about proximity, it is about the gaze. Psychological function. This language seeks intersubjectivity, the psychological state where two minds share a focused experience. It validates existence. I see you, therefore you exist. The mechanism. It requires the deactivation of distractions. The partner serves as a mirror. If the partner is looking at a phone, the mirror is broken, and the individual feels psychologically fragmented. The wound. Common in children who were physically provided for but emotionally ignored, emotional neglect. They learned that resources are cheap, but attention is the scarce, high-value currency. 5. Physical touch. Sensory regulation and the vagabond nerve. This is the most biological of the languages. It is not exclusively sexual, it is about the nervous system. Psychological function. Touch stimulates the vagus nerve, lowering cortisol, stress, and raising oxytocin, bonding. It is a mechanism for co-regulation. The mechanism. Humans are altricial species. We require physical holding to develop properly. For these adults, a hug is a physiological reset button for their anxiety. The wound. Skin hunger or touch deprivation in infancy can lead to an adult who requires high levels of tactile feedback to feel safe. Conversely, trauma can make this language inaccessible. 2. The archaeology of affection. How dialects are formed. Why do you speak your specific dialect? Psychology points to a convergence of nature, biology, and nurture, environment. 1. The modeling versus compensation dichotomy. Developmental psychologists debate whether we mimic our parents or rebel against them. The answer is usually a mix of two hypotheses. The modeling hypothesis, social learning theory. We learn to love by watching masters of the craft, our parents. If you grew up in a house where affection was shown through hard work and a clean lawn, you may internalize acts of service as the correct way to love. It becomes your native tongue because it is familiar. The compensation hypothesis, the deficit model. More frequently, our primary love language is a response to what we lacked. Example. A child grows up with wealthy parents who buy them everything, gifts, but never attend their soccer games, quality time. Result. As an adult, this person may view gifts as empty bribes and have a voracious, insatiable hunger for quality time. We eroticize and romanticize the thing that was scarcest in our developmental environment. 2. Attachment theory and emotional scripts. Our attachment style, secure, anxious, avoidant, disorganized, dictates how we perceive intimacy, which heavily influences our dialect. Anxious attachment. These individuals have a hyperactivated attachment system. They constantly scan for threats to the relationship. They tend to favor words of affirmation, constant reassurance, and quality time, constant proximity. They need a high frequency of pings from the partner to feel safe. Avoidant attachment. These individuals value autonomy and may view intense emotional demands as threatening. They often favor acts of service or gifts. These are safe expressions of love. They allow the person to show care from a distance without the vulnerability of deep eye contact or physical clinging. Disorganized attachment. This stems from trauma. Their love language may be chaotic or fluctuating. They may crave physical touch but flinch when it is offered. Their dialect is often come here, go away, reflecting their internal conflict between the desire for love and the fear of it. 3. The neurobiology of the missed connection. When we speak different languages, it is not just a misunderstanding, it is a failure of neurochemical synchronization. The reward pathways. Love activates the brain's reward system, primarily the ventral tegmental area, VTA, and the caudate nucleus. However, the trigger for this activation varies. For a touch person, skin-to-skin contact releases endogenous opioids and oxytocin. If you give them a gift instead, their brain processes the visual data, but the opioid receptors remain empty. They intellectually know you love them, but they do not feel it physiologically. For a words person, the auditory cortex stimulates the reward center. A silent hug might feel nice, but it fails to trigger the dopamine spike that verbal validation provides. The panic of misalignment. When a partner tries to communicate love in the wrong language, the recipient often experiences a form of emotional isolation. Scenario. Partner A, service, cleans the whole house. Partner B, time, wanted to talk. The biological result. Partner A feels exhausted and unappreciated, dopamine crash. Partner B feels lonely and ignored, cortisol spike. Instead of a bonding moment, the interaction creates a debt. Partner A feels owed gratitude, while Partner B feels owed attention. 4. The psychology of conflict. The golden rule trap. The single greatest barrier to romantic harmony is a cognitive bias known as the false consensus effect. We subconsciously assume that others see the world and experience emotions exactly as we do. The paradox of the golden rule. We are taught: treat others how you want to be treated. In romantic psychology, this is disastrous advice. It leads to projective loving. If I feel loved when you buy me things, I will buy you things to show I love you. If you do not react with the same ecstasy I would feel, I interpret your reaction as ungratefulness. The intent versus impact gap. Couples with mismatched languages get stuck in a loop of intent versus impact. The intent: I worked overtime to buy you that necklace. I love you. The impact. You were gone all week and I'm lonely. You abandoned me. This leads to learned helplessness. The partner trying to show love feels that nothing I do is ever enough, so they stop trying. The relationship begins a slow death by attrition. V. Sociological and gender dimensions. We cannot ignore the role of socialization. While love languages are individual, they are shaped by cultural gender scripts. The male script. Men are often socialized into instrumental emotion, expressing care through doing and providing, acts of service, gifts. They are often discouraged from verbal vulnerability. Thus, a man might fix a leaking faucet as a poetic declaration of love. The female script. Women are often socialized into relational emotion, maintaining the bond through communication and gathering, words of affirmation, quality time. The friction. A common heterosexual conflict pattern arises where the man feels he is loving his wife by working, and the wife feels he is loving his job. He is speaking the language of provision, she is listening for the language of connection. 6. Psychological flexibility. Becoming multilingual. If our love languages are hardwired by childhood and biology, are we doomed to incompatibility? No. The goal of a mature relationship is not to find a clone, but to develop psychological flexibility. 1. Cognitive reframing. The translator. We must train our prefrontal cortex to override our limbic, emotional, reaction. The practice. When your partner expresses love in their language, not yours, you must intellectually translate it. Example. Your partner buys you a gadget, gifts, when you wanted a hug, touch. Instead of feeling empty, you engage a cognitive override. This object represents the time and thought they put into me. I will accept the love intended, even if the delivery method is foreign. 2. The concept of bids. Dr. John Gottman's research on bids for connection is crucial here. A love language is essentially a stylized bid. Turning toward a bid. Acknowledging the effort. Turning away from a bid. Ignoring it. Turning against a bid. Responding with hostility. Successful couples learn to recognize a bid even when it is encoded in a foreign dialect. They realize that the clean kitchen isn't just a clean kitchen, it's a bid for affection. 3. Stretching the comfort zone. Learning a new emotional dialect feels unnatural. It feels fake at first. A quiet, stoic man may feel ridiculous offering effusive words of affirmation. A naturally verbal woman may feel cold just sitting in silence, acts of service/time, with a partner. Psychological growth. Doing something unnatural for the sake of a partner is a profound act of differentiation. It shows that you value the relationship more than your own comfort. 7. Conclusion. The architecture of enduring love. The theory of love languages is ultimately a lesson in empathy. It challenges our narcissism. It forces us to admit that our way of experiencing the world is not the only way. We speak different emotional dialects because we are the products of different histories, different traumas, and different neural architectures. The perfect match is a myth. The reality of enduring love is found in the effort of translation. When we commit to learning our partner's dialect, we are doing more than just making them happy. We are healing their childhood wounds. We are providing the specific emotional nutrient they have been starved of. We are saying, ultimately, I value you enough to learn a language that I do not speak, just so I can whisper, I love you, in a way you can finally hear.